Today, another important and interesting chapters is both positive reaction as well as the negative reaction. I try to complete at least one. A company came to India just for trade, but after 1700s, due to the existing political situation, they started to rise, captured India, major part of India, started to administer, and it is up to the common man to react, whether positively or negatively. If it is positively, socio-religious reform movement. Not that alone, some positive aspect. Even many Indians eagerly participated in civil service and ready to serve for the British. Negative, in the name of revolt, uprising, that are all the negatives. Today, I am opening the most another important chapter is socio-religious reform movement. If you know the explanation part of socio-religious reform movement, that's all. This unit is over. First 10 or 15 minutes is very important. In this only, I am discussing about this idea of socio-religious reform movement. Yes, listen. In this, the each word is important. This is first, second, third, fourth. If I explain, that's all. Then what about Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj? These are all like by hearting in nature. It's like a twinkle twinkle star. Who started? When was it started? At any time you could study. But for UPSC civil services, you should know the concept. 2019, it's a GS question, 10 mark or 15 mark question from socio-religious reform movement. If you don't know what I am going to discuss for next 15 minutes, whatever, or if you study 50 or 60 socio-religious reform movement, it's difficult to answer. So here, socio-religious reform movement. Okay, simple. Reformation of Indian society, reformation of Indian religion. For that, movements were started. That's why it's called socio-religious reform. That's all. The unit is over. Understood? So keep it in mind. Come again once again. Right. Reformation of Indian society, reformation of Indian religion. Since one man cannot reform the age-old culture or deep-rooted culture, deep-rooted norms, that's why it's called. They started to organize and forms various movements. That's why socio-religious reform movement. That's all over. Unit is over. If you understood this, then question: what should be reformed? That is another important thing. Whether positive should be reformed or negative should be reformed. Sir, I am a good person. No smoking, no drinking, nothing is there. What is the necessity of reforming me? If something to be happen, for example, reformation center is there, rehabilitation center. Sometimes drug addict would be sent to rehabilitation center. Not only that, even addict, PUBG addict also, sometimes would be sent to the rehabilitation center. Correct? Addictions mean not related to drinking and smoking. Even whatever it is, even some people, book addict, addict to newspaper, that is good addict. Some people are there, morning 6 o'clock, if they didn't read a newspaper, that's all. They had become addict and that day is not good, auspicious day for them. That kind of addict is good actually. So addiction means not related to drinking and smoking. Okay. So why I'm saying here is reformation center. So if you want to reform one person, you should know the negatives. Likewise, if you want to reform a society and religion, you should know the negatives. What are all the things considered to be the negatives of the society? What are all the things that crippled in that religion that alone should be weeded out? You should not remove the plant. You should weed out the unnecessary. So, reformation of Indian society, reformation of Indian religion. For that, you should know what are the evils or what are the negative things. Understood? So, this is important. You should know what are all that evils of social evils, what was considered as religious evils that were later reformed. Such a reformation happened in 19th century. Write it near the unit itself. Started in 19th century. Even today also that has been continuing, but it was started in 19th century. 19th century mean 1800s onwards. Even today also, emancipation for women. Even today also, many people are criticizing some useless rituals or something considered as a superstition in religion. But it was started in 19th century. And this is also called Indian form of Renaissance. Note it down. So simultaneously how to write it. It is also called Indian form of Renaissance. And that's the reason Raja Ram Mohan Rai, the father of Indian Renaissance, we will discuss. Okay. So other name of this unit is called Indian form of Renaissance. One reason is why only 19th century? Why not 16th century? Or why not 21st century? Why particularly Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Raja Ram Mohan Rai or Muthulakshmi Reddy or later part Ambedkar, these kinds of people, means some reasons are there. So why socio-religious reform movement? These are all the reasons. Note it down. One by one we have to discuss the first cause why 19th century is Western education. Write it. Actually, if you write all the 6 points and introduction, conclusion in the 6.3 to 4 lines explanation, 10 mark question. This is the structure of writing. Western education. If Western education means, yes, by 1835 through Macaulay Minute, English education system was introduced. After that, Indians started to learn of the political thesis, religious thesis of other, and started to compare with the Indian and started to criticize. No, this is not good. This is not good. This is fine. Introduction of Western education system. Education system wise, no one criticized. Actually, when compared to Eastern way of education system, Western way of education system, it seems to be the day-to-day education system. That's the Eastern way of education system is more or less a spiritualistic way. Got it? So this is important. First is Western education system. So simultaneously you have to write it. Okay, this is a main 10 mark question. Next is Western culture. Keep it in mind, all accepted Western education, but many rejected Western culture. Nowadays, our society couldn't differentiate between Western education and Western culture. I may be an English spoken person, but for that I no need to wear English dress. But what we are doing it, we couldn't differentiate between education and culture. Why not? I could speak English very well, but not necessarily to wear jean. But today I used to wear jean, right? I can wear dhoti and white shirt. Culture should be mine, but language can be any. But nowadays we are not at all. Right? If you speak English, you have to behave like English. You forced to behave like English. If you speak English, you can't go to local Muniandivilas. Rather than you have to go to this some hi-fi and what is served in that hi-fi restaurant. Because present generation couldn't differentiate between culture and language. That is education, right? So keep it in mind. Here, when Western culture was introduced, that led to the destruction of Eastern culture, that is the Indian culture. So complete destruction of Indian culture. Even today, in the case of dress, in the case of behavior, we are like a copycat of the West. What is the necessity of wearing coat in Tamil Nadu, especially by this time in Chennai? That too black and black. But in Western country, it is essential because even in the Western country, even the street sweeper should also use the coat, because in that country the climate is sub-zero condition degree. If you come out, definitely you should wear. So likewise, many consider, right, Western culture led to the destruction of the Eastern culture. Why I am saying is culture and economy is linked. Keep it in mind. For example, instead of wearing jean, if I wear a dhoti, some Indian economy and Indian textile industry would improve. Instead of wearing the Western bed, if I used to have that normal Indian, right, bed sheet, indigenous industry would be promoted. Understood? So here, Western culture destroyed the Eastern culture. That's why. So we have to change. We have to change the people. So that is the reaction. Even if you see some of the social religious reform, Arya Samaj, then various Islamic reform movement, they insisted that no, boys and girls, don't follow the Western culture, Western way of dressing, Western way of behavior. You speak English. English is just a language. That's all. Beyond that, nothing. Got it? For that, you not necessarily to be an English person. This is what they taught. Even some socio-religious reform movement were like this. And next is discovery of India's glorious past. Actually, mains writing should be like this. In this, you don't want exactly which year Raja Ram Mohan Roy founded the Brahma Samaj, Pratasnavas was founded by whom. Unnecessary to sure. Rediscovery of India's glorious past. Why I am saying is, when British started to, so third point is this, when British started to rule India, they said Indians were unfit to rule by themselves. They openly said this. Indians were unfit. That's why we crossed the Cape of Good Hope, and with that much of difficulties, we came and started to rule you because of not for the goodness of British, rather than for the goodness of Indian. This is what British thesis. Right? What British consider and started to write, Indian were unfit to rule. Even you might have come across the famous concept, all should write it here, is the white man's burden. This thesis you should have come across, white man's burden. What is the burden of white man is, right, they say God sent white person in this world. Why? And what is the duty imposed mean? They have to go to Africa, they have to go to Asia. Asia and Africa are called uncivilized people, uncivilized land. And Europe is the civilized land. So they have to go to Asia and Africa, and they have to rule that people only to civilize the barbarians. We are all for barbarians as per the white man's burden. This is what they did, insisted in India. But in the name of rediscovery of India's glorious past, how rediscovery? Write it. Because of ASA department, Archaeological Survey of India, and Asiatic Society of India. Even Asiatic Society we already discussed. Archaeological survey is different. Asiatic Society of India, Bengal. Right? These organizations started to explore. How started to explore mean? It explored the Mauryans. Because Mauryan had all India empire building activity. Explored about Mauryans. Later they exposed about the Indus Valley civilization. So Ashoka, yes, our ruler. Ashoka ruled the entire India. Then how could the British say Indian were unfit to rule? Am I right? Even the Turkish Delhi Sultan, Alauddin Khilji, all other, even Mughal came and settled. Right? They made India as their home country. They didn't escape. They didn't go back to Persia. They didn't go back to Uzbekistan. They settled and made India as their homeland. They are all Indian rulers. So that's why they consider, because of rediscovery of past, they consider this, no, British, you are wrong. If you go back to the ancient and medieval, India was ruled by Indians. Understood? So this is the significance of India's discovery of glorious past. So many things I could, in medieval, modern, I can say, okay? And next is Christian missionaries. Actually, this is negatives. Some Christian missionaries, not all the Christian missionaries, some Christian missionaries, forcible conversion. So here, not all the Christian missionaries, at the same time, not all the conversion. Conversion is by volunteer. I cannot change my caste, but I can change my religion. I don't know why rationality of such a thing. I can't change my caste, but I can change my religion. Right? No one can stop of changing the religion. So voluntarily changing is not at all questioned. But here forceful conversion was questioned. especially both Hindus and Muslims, lost their base because of forceful conversion. Many embraced Christianity. Some Muslims and Hindus didn't like it. That led to socio-religious reform movements. So one is Western education, ideas we got it. Western culture, rejected we. Rediscovery, self-reliance. Christian missionaries, against Christian missionaries, movements were started. And last is racial discrimination. Racial discrimination. Actually, India witnessed so many conquerors, but no other outsiders like British used the word racial discrimination. White man's superiority. Even today also, if you are a white, many are thinking that I am great. How is it possible to become a white in India, especially in southern part? It's impossible to be white. You just go 10 minutes, you'll be there in sunlight, that's all, you will become black. But even today also we want to become white. White man's superiority in the name of racial discrimination. So white versus black. Understood? The same thing even today also, the remains of the British concept of white. Got it? So white people are great. Even today also many are thinking of it. Even in Tamil Nadu, one comedian is there. He would always use this word. வெள்ளையா இருக்கிறவன் பொய் சொல்ல மாட்டான். If you are a white, you would not tell lie. Even today also we are thinking, if some people are black, we call them as a colorless. Oh, black is also some color. Yeah. Colorless means you should be a bleach. Understood? So this thing, and they started to discriminate that a black, that is an Indian. That's why many movements were started against this. So likewise, these things and the effect in 19th century led to the movement. So in mains, you have to write like this. This is the way of writing. Here I never mentioned any particular year, any mention, exactly mention any particular organization. Unnecessary, because examiner knew very well that without knowing some factual information, you can't study analytical. Okay, so why over? Why socio-religious reform movements? Okay, next we have to come to this, right? What is social? What is religious? Carefully you look into that. I said social religious. Am I right? Reformation. So Indian society to be reformed. Indian religion to be reformed. Religion to be reformed. Keep it in mind. If reformation means you want to list it out positive or negative, means you have to list it out the negatives as considered by the reformers. It may be differ. A negative, religious negative of one person is positive for another person. But here what Raja Rammohn Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Periyar, or Ambedkar, or Gandhiji, Narayana Guru, or Jyotiba, what they consider, that's what we are going to discuss. Understood? So here, what are all the social evils or negatives that crippled the Indian society by 19th century, or what are all the religious evils that crippled the Indian society by 19th century? Simple thing. Okay. So you list it out, type it. What are all the social negatives which crippled the Indian society? Type. Right. Almost all are right. Sati, child marriage, no widow remarriage, dowry, mentioned it. Casteism. If you see the social evils, nearly 90% of the social evils were against particular community. that is the another sex, that is the woman. Am I right? If you see 90% of the social evils were against only one gender. Itself is so that male domination. Exactly right? So here 90%, so and so, so and so. So it's better to remember from birth of a girl child and death. It's very easy. Then what would be the first evil is female infanticide. Write it. Female foeticide cannot be done because in those times no technology. So female infanticide after delivery, if it seems to be a girl, she immediately was poisoned and killed. So female infanticide. Okay. So why female infanticide was frequent means because of society. Society is responsible for any kind of positive as well as negative. Why? In that female infanticide means because women means burden, girl means burden. You have to provide protection. It's because 24/7 you have to watch it, right? And chastity important, and that's why I couldn't. If male member means no chastity, that's a societal thing. Do you know if something happened of a boy of your house, that's all. It's like this. Nothing would happen. The family would never bother about it. But something happened on a girl, it is not the issue of the girl. The entire family would involve. It is a society kept it. Women means it is a family issue. If it is a boy means it is an individual issue. And education. After education, at the time of she is about to earn, she got married and she is giving earning to not to her parents, to the son in-law house. At the time of marriage, dowry. That's why the societal burden, girls related burden, that's why at the moment after delivery, if it's a she was killed, female infanticide. Okay, suppose that's why Modi ji when opened his Beti Bachao, Beti Badao, when the scheme was insisted, he used the superb word. Even I am strongly in favor of that one. What's the thing is, we want, okay, daughter-in-law, but we don't want a daughter. That's all over. Correct? For your son, you want a girl, but you would not want a daughter. So you want a daughter-in-law, but you don't want a daughter. Without daughter, how would become daughter-in-law? Right? Even if I say in Hindi and Tamil, it will be very interesting. Right? The same word, Prime Minister also used it. Okay, suppose the girl was not killed means next no education. Next you write it. Even in those times, many communities, caste people were not given education, especially Shudras and other. And women no need, especially no education. Even why not? Till 1950 you could see education was given to women up to attaining of puberty. Once puberty is attained, that's all. Not at all sending them to school. You ask your grandma, they would tell the story. Right? No education. If no education means the girl would be in the house, that forced for child marriage. So keep it in mind. While child marriage means no education. That's why education is a tool to postpone the marriage. Even today also here in this class nearly 370 people are there. 100 plus students may be the girl, right? Already you finished graduation. Immediately you would have got married. But UPSC successfully postponed your marriage for 1 or 2 years. Am I right? You would have informed your parents, no, I want to study for UPSC 1 or 2 years, so kindly postpone. If no UPSC studies, by the time you would have married. So education is a great tool for postponement. Boys wise, no need to say. Education, then service, then marriage, it's a remote. After 25 or 30, we don't know of this. So it's a tool to postpone. Okay, it is an order. Okay. Marriage, time of marriage dowry, it's called Stri Dan. Stri Dan. That only in Tamil Nadu and the Dravidian belt we short it. Sridan equal to become Sidan. Actually it is no C, no it is Dan. Actually it is called Stri. Stri means girl, Dan means gift. At the time of marriage, some amount was given to the girl by her parents, that is called Stri Dan. English word is the dowry. Understood? So this is a huge burden for the parents. And next is child marriage was in those times. Child marriage means not just 15 years or 18 years, 7 years. Even sometimes immediately after after birth, if it is child, okay, she is the husband. Right, for her, he is the husband. Likewise, fixed it. Even the marriage took place at the age of 7 or 8. Then it's not child marriage, it's an infant marriage. Even Gandhiji himself accepted. Gandhiji got married at the age of 13. At that time, Kasturba age was just 11. Himself accepted in his autobiography, my experiment with the truth. So, suppose in the after child marriage, if the husband died, she was forced to commit sati. Actually, this is the order of birth to death of a girl. Right? In the funeral, in the fire itself, the girl must. Actually, keep it in mind, in those time all were good. Once upon a time, ancient time, everything was good. After studying, initially, when I studied, I opposed. As of now, useless. But when the system was introduced, was good. I would say child marriage was good. I would say, openly would say, was good, not is good. Dowry was good, was good. Sati was good. By when? It may be Indus Valley civilization, or it may be Mauryan period, it may be Guptan period, 6th century AD, but it was useless by 19th century. Much difference. Understood? So that's significant of this. Even many say that 2020, am I right? Marriage was good. Marriage is good. By 2200, many would say, what is the nonsense of marriage? Don't want marriage. Marriage is a tool which inhibit the progress of women. So no marriage at all. Even many countries are started to adopt this. So today marriage may be good. After that, not necessarily to be good. Okay. So here all were good once upon a time, but not 19th century. So sati, and next is, so why sati? Let me explain. Is if the widow was not entered into fire, means rest of her life no remarriage. What is the reason? That's why the girl forced to enter into that. So next you write it, no widow remarriage. No widow remarriage. Actually, sati and widow remarriage, no widow remarriage are complement to each other. Why sati? No widow remarriage. Okay. Why no widow remarriage? No widow. Because all the widows forcibly entered into the fire. That's why. Both complement to each other. If you see, many were against a gender called women. Understood? These are all the social evils. And another social evils, you can see many consider casteism and untouchability. Casteism and untouchability. I would like to differentiate the view. Keep it in mind, casteism and untouchability. Casteism was good. Once upon a time it was good. I would accept it because Jadi, casteism, Varna was based on occupation. As long as it was based on occupation, excellent. Actually, these are repeated questions, like these questions in UPSC. Okay, so that was good. Why casteism was good means casteism was based on occupation, not by based on birth. But when it was based on by birth, led to the problem. What is the thing? If I am doing the manual scavenging work, my son should also do the manual scavenging work. That is wrong. I may be a fool, but that's why I'm doing that work. But my son not necessarily to be a fool, uneducated person. He can become an officer. But society says, since your father is a fool and he was doing the manual scavenging, you should also do it. You should not study. What nonsense of this? This was questioned. Understood? So, as long as it was based on occupation, no one questioned. When it was based on by birth, it is wrong. And another ugly impact of the casteism is untouchability. Touch me not attitude. See me not attitude. Not only touch me, even if I supposed to see a so-called lower caste person, that's all. I am a polluted person. So these things were completely criticized. Understood? So these are the social evils. All were opposed. Now come to religious evils, as considered by so many peoples. Okay, what are all the religious evils? Right? Text. What are all considered to be the religious evils? Okay, triple talaq. Then triple talaq in 20s, after triple talaq is evil, whether society abolished or government abolished. Okay, anyway, it's okay. After abolishing only we started to consider. Then yeah. Animal sacrifice. Okay, then slavery. Okay. Polygamy, superstition. Okay, what is superstition? Who mentioned about the superstition? Say one example of superstition. What is superstition for you? Not necessarily superstition for me. Priority of Brahmins. Okay. Devdasi system, good. Okay, that crippled in 19th century. Casteism already mentioned. Casteism and untouchability. Favoritism is not. It's not a religious one. Favoritism is there in all the religion. Hindu okay. Orthodoxy itself is questionable. Okay, it's not just religious orthodoxy. Don't just confine to Hindu orthodoxy. Orthodoxy are there in all religion. Religious orthodoxy. Okay. Good. So, that was done by British. What I'm saying is, in the society, what kind of problem happened? That's what I'm discussing. Conversion to Christianity was not a societal problem; it's a government problem. Government was doing that. Right now, what are all the religious evils as considered is right idol and image worship. Itself is different. Even today, as a Hindu, many people are doing idol and image worship, but many opposed that itself. Best example, Raja Ram Mohan Rai opposed it. Even if you go to Brahma Samaj, Brahma Mandir in Calcutta, you can't see any Brahma Samaj building, you can't see any idol and image. But they accept the God. God is there. Why should we confine a God to a particular idol? And he is my God, and this is my goddess. God is there everywhere. God is omnipotent and omnipresent, actually. In that sense, they opposed idol and image worship. Okay, if they opposed idol and image worship, means definitely they would oppose ritual and sacrifice. Actually, not all ritual, some rituals. Ritual and sacrifice. That too, sacrifice means animal sacrifice, all opposed to the sacrifice, animal sacrifice. Whether God asked you to cut some animal, am I right? Whether God asked to cut animal in front of it, I would openly say, if a God to be happy after killing an animal mean, it is not at all a God. God must protect all, both human as well as animal. At the killing of animal, a God to be satisfied means he is not a God, he is a demon actually. But what human being is doing, we want to eat it. For that, what we are saying, in the name of the God, we are cutting, then we are eating. How egoism of the human. Otherwise, if animal is cut by the human, the entire sin would come to us. No, I am not cutting for me. I am cutting for God. Okay, so rituals and sacrifice. And the next thing is priest. Predominance of priest community. Not all the Brahmins, even in that group of priests, that too the exploitative nature of some priest. Opposed it. What is the necessary of priest? What is the necessary of such a persons between human and God? Who are they like intermediates likewise? And next is Devadasi. Devadasi. Actually, Devadasi system was good. When it was instituted during the period of Chola and Vijayanagar Samaraja, the Devadasi. Actually, Deva means God. Dasi means girl. Right? A girl, unmarried girl dedicated to temple and for look after the God, that is called Devadasi. Excellent institution. It's like a sisters in church. Institution is good. But when this institution is started to misuse, when the girls are started to misuse by some unscrupulous people, then only the institution was criticized. Not only misused, only some community alone should send their girl, not other community. Later what happened? That led to prostitution like one. Deva was gone, later became Dasi. Dasi means it's not a more or less prostitution. That's why, due to the great effort of Muthulakshmi Reddy in 19th century, 20th century, especially Devadas system was famous in South India, from Orissa to Cape of Comorin. That institution was completely abolished by a stroke of legislative measures. And next is Purda. Purda. Even in that also, it was Syed Ahmad Khan, he opposed it. What's the necessity of wearing Purda in India? What is the purpose of wearing Purda? Text. Yes, only thing is to protect your face and your body from the desert sand, that's all. Whether any desert is there in Chennai, even if you go to Rajasthan, even Rajasthani Rajput girls and women also would wear the purda. Even if you see Rajasthan, they would wear, cover their face. Even if you go to Arabia, not only the girls, even sheikh, if you see the sheikh, all the sheikh would cover white color top to bottom. Not only the woman, even male also, because that is a desert. Sand particles, if we wear normal dress like this, sand particle would go inside, that's uncomfortness, that's why they cover it. What is the purpose in other area? Since Islam was born in Mecca, Medina, whatever the culture, whatever the tradition, the people are following throughout the world without rationality, one is considered Sapurda, opposed it. Actually, Syed Ahmad Khan was first to oppose such a thing. Understood? So, likewise, so many such religious norms are there. These things were opposed. So, these two are very important. Why socio-religious reform movement? And next is what were opposed. So, what I discussed it, social we discussed, religious we discussed, right? Why reformation we discussed, and next subtopic, kinds of reformations, reforms, write it. Kinds of reformation, you split into three. One is called revivalist, reformist, another is westernist. Just write the subtopic alone. So carefully listen. In this I discussed socio, religious. Next I have to discuss reformation. Such a reformations are of three kinds: revivalist, reformist and westernist. If you don't know this, you can't study NCERT and Spectrum book. So reform is different. Within the reform, revivalist, reformist and westernist are different. Okay. Sir, reform is okay. Why such a different? Is One by one we will discuss. Who are called revivalists? Means, first you write it, they rejected Western culture altogether. They rejected Western culture altogether and accepted and retained Eastern alone. Accepted Eastern alone. Eastern mean Indian culture. That's why in the previous slide itself I mentioned here Western culture. They outrightly rejected. What is the necessity of wearing this dress, or what is the necessity of wearing this kind of food in India? What is the necessity of having coffee at early morning? Why do we drink coffee? And why do we drink again either tea or coffee in the late evening? What is the purpose? Is it the Western culture or Eastern culture? It's a pure Western culture. Why? In the West, severe winter. If you take rest throughout the night due to severe winter, in the morning if you wake it up, your body would be that much cool. If your body want to be warm, immediate warming is drinking something. So hot coffee or hot tea. If you have hot tea, your body would get warm, so you can work in the early morning. In the same way, late evening, in that Western world, evening 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock itself sunset, and again temperature drops. Again you can't work because severe winter, but you have to work up to night 10 o'clock, means again you have to warm up your body. That's why they are drinking coffee, tea, that's why they are smoking, that's why they are drinking hot. But what is the necessity? Many don't know, but even today also we do it. Am I right? Especially bed coffee. Already in June month, if you go to bed and wake it up, that's all. Full complete sweat would come. Again, you are heating your up your body in the name of drinking coffee. But what to do? We have become addict towards that, and it became fashion also actually. So that's why they consider reject Western, East Western culture. That is not at all suitable for India. Absolutely right. So rejected Western culture altogether and retain Eastern culture. Such a people revive. Simple. What is the meaning of revival? Next point you write. Going back. Revive, na? Going back. Going back and follow the Indian culture. Okay. So before British, what kind of culture was followed? That is our own. Due to the British, we changed everything. We are living artificially. We are not living along with the nature. Understood? This is what the revivalist. No, Indian culture is good for Indian geographical condition. In this only the best example of organization. Just one or two alone you write. Don't write. Otherwise, if you wish to write everything. Arya Samaj, Theosophical Society, Ramakrishna Mission, and all Islamic movements. All are the best example of the revivalist movement. Take it? This is all. Next you come to this side. At last I come to this reformist. Last come to the westernist or ultra reformist. Okay, come to ultra reformist. It will come. I would come here. Okay. Who are the ultra reformist? Mean they totally accepted Western culture and rejected Eastern culture. Accepted Western culture and rejected Eastern culture. Yes, actually just opposite to the revivalist. What the revivalist say, dress, food, everything you should wear based on Indian climatic condition, Indian culture. Right. What is the necessity of wearing jean? Already here 40 plus degree temperature. If I wear jean, 50 degree half boiled. No, useless. This is what revivalist. Okay. But if you come to here, they say, no, jean is good. Why? No need to wash. Very easy. If it is dirty white color, daily you have to wash. One. Second thing, jean and pant is good. Why? People are wearing using two-wheeler and four-wheeler. It's very easy to drive. Rather than if you use dhoti, it's difficult to drive two-wheeler and four-wheeler. This group. That is revivalist or ultra reformist, such a group. Understood? So they completely rejected the East and accepted the West. The best example of the ultra westernist group is Young Bengal movement. Note it down. Young Bengal movement by Henry Vivian Derosio. Henry Vivian Derosio. That's why this is also called the Derosian group. Even today in Bengal region, such a group is there, I think. Okay, now you come to this group, reformist. So one outrightly rejected West, one outrightly accepted West. And come to this, the best example of the reformist. Who are the reformists? So here the reform in that is reformist is they accepted both West as well as East, both East as well as West. It's none other than synthesis of West as well as East. Understood? So they accepted both West as well as East. It's based on the time. Sir, I want some good things of West. At the same time, I want some good things of East. For example, many girls, maybe they're here, used to wear jean t-shirt while they're coming out. It does not mean that our girls are wearing always jeans and t-shirt. If the family function happened means, definitely they would go for a sari and a half sari, Indian tradition. Then you are a reformist. Otherwise, some girls, no, throughout 24/7, I will be in jean t-shirt, then you would come under revivalist. Some girls, always 24/7 in that sari, half sari, or full skirt. Likewise, you are revivalist. If it is a mixture, you are reformist, the best example. So, it means that it is a happy synthesis of West and East. The best example is Brahma Samaj, Aligarh. Actually, this is the only exceptional reformist Islamic movement. All other Islamic movement are revivalist. Aligarh alone is a reformist. And another is this movement. Don't write. Otherwise, here itself you write. Rahanumai, Masdayasnan, Sabha. It's a Parsi reformist movement. It's a Parsi reformist movement. Okay, this much of information you should know. So why reformation? What is the social and religious evils that were opposed? And third is such a reform itself is divided into three. If you don't know these three words, it's impossible for you to touch NCERT and the Spectrum book. For example, while opening of Arya Samaj, in the first page itself they mentioned, it is a revivalist movement. Then what is revivalism you should know. Understood? So, what we successfully completed here is socio over, religious over, reform over. Now, open this one, movement. You write it, various movement. Various movement. Under the various movement, you split like this. Movement in Hinduism, movement in Islamism, movement in Sikhism, and here movement in Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is Parsi people. People are called Parsi. Their religion name is called Zoroastrianism. Buddhism, Jainism, not that much because themselves were the reformist movement. So, in this, what we are going to discuss is what are the movement in Hinduism, 4 to 5 movement, here 4 to 5 movement, here 2 to 3 movement, that we will discuss, and some great reformers. This is twinkle twinkle little star. It's very easy. You have understood what I earlier said, that is the core. 2019 10 mark question or 15 mark question is over. So with this only you have to discuss. Yes? Shall we start? First you write movement in Hinduism. Reform movement in Hinduism. So I use the word reform movement. Such a reform movement may be revivalist or reformist or ultra-westernist. That we are going to discuss. In that, the first reform movement in Hinduism are throughout India, and the first reformer, all people knew very well of this. Who was the first reformer of India? Earliest reformer is Raja Ram Mohan Rai, and organization you write it Brahma Samaj. So I start with Brahmo Samaj, write it. Brahma Samaj, 1828, started in 1828 at Calcutta. These are twinkle twinkle to start, just write it fast, okay? 1828 at Calcutta by Raja Ram Mohan Rai. By Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Yes, for what purpose? Such a movement was started, the Brahma Samaj, is to oppose the social evils and the religious evils. What I have given in that table, entire thing you have tried it. So to oppose social evils as well as religious evils. Keep it in mind. Many candidates are thinking that Raja Ram Mohan Rai started Brahma Samaj exclusively to abolish sati. No. He wanted to abolish widow remarriage, no widow remarriage. He wanted to abolish the dowry. He was against idol and image worship. Everything he opposed it. But he concentrated on sati. That's why whenever you supposed to see come across Raja Ram Mohan Rai, our mind immediately would go to sati. But he concentrated. So that's why he opposed all the social and religious evils. But concentrated on sati. Taken? Concentrated on sati. That's the reason why he concentrated on sati, means that happened in his home itself. He had an elder bro, married, brother died. In the funeral pyre, last funeral process itself, his sister-in-law forced to commit sati. Even though Raja Ram Mohan Rai opposed it, that was waste. In the family itself, sister-in-law forced to commit. At that time, he decided, whatever happened to my sister-in-law should not happen to any other sisters in that world, and that's why he decided to abolish sati once for all. These are all the story. Keep it here. This will be helpful. Understood? That's why, with that effort of William Bendick, next point, in 1829, with the effort of William Bendick, with the help of William Bendick, Abolition of Sati Act was passed. Abolition of Sati Act was passed. So this one you should know. Abolition of Sati Act 1829, Brahma Samaj 1828. Okay. Before entering into other points, just only one point. This is important. Earlier, you write it. Earlier, in 1815, he started Atmiya Sabha. Atmiya Sabha. That was Calcutta. Actually, much before Brahma Samaj, first he started Atmiya Sabha. Later only Brahma Samaj. This is expected because many may not know of this organization started by Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Got it? Yes. Next you come to normal. After that you know very well he was his original name. Who gave the title Raja? Right? Write it. Type it. Who gave the title Raja? Who gave the title Raja was Akbar. Yes, correct. Then he was sent to London for asking what one is pension. Right? So you write it. He was given title Raja by Akbar II. And was sent to London. So now you link it with later Mughal topic. That's all over. And even why not? Rai was also his title. Rai means royal. that was given by common man of the Bengal or learned friend, that you know very well. Okay, now Raja Ramohun Roy went to London, but what happened is he died in England. Next point, write it. He died in England. Taken? Yes. So keep it in mind, he was a pioneer. What he did, he criticized the social evils of Hinduism, Islamism. He criticized the religious evils. Immediately, his Christian friends were there. Many Christian friends criticized Hinduism. Hinduism is not only Hinduism. Eastern religion, Indian religion is a superstition religion, full of superstition. Immediately, Raja Ramohun Roy got tension. What he did, it's very interesting. He learned Hebrew, the Hebrew language. Then what he did, he thoroughly studied Bible. Actually, Bible was written in Hebrew. He thoroughly studied Bible, and he also noticed some of the superstition. And at last he said that superstition was there in all the religion. So that you write it. He learned Hebrew, studied Bible, and he gave extract from the Bible called precepts. Precepts of Jesus. This is very important work of Raja Ramohun Roy. Precepts of Jesus. In that he criticized superstition in, no, not criticized, he pointed out superstition in Christianity. Right, because if a religion is there, some belief would be there, some non-belief, extra belief would be there, that is called superstition. Only for that he did it. Understood? At last he died. After his death, what happened is, next, right, after his death, Devendranath Tagore became the head. Devendranath Tagore became the head. Yes. Who was Devendranath Tagore? We already studied yesterday. Type. Devendranath Tagore was not a civil servant, yeah? You are saying Satyendranath Tagore. I am asking Devendranath Tagore. Ravindranath brother, wrong. Ravindranath father. Ravindranath brother was Satyendranath Tagore. Ravindranath father was Devendranath Tagore. No, but we already studied in previous class. Yes, Tattva Bodhani Patrika. Who? What is? Sri Lakshmi. Super, correct. Tattva Bodhani Patrika by Devendranath Tagore. Exactly, that's right. Right. So later, who took the administration of Brahma Samaj was, right, Devendranath Tagore. So that's very important. He was famously called Maharishi Devendranath Tagore. Maharishi Devendranath Tagore, and he was the father of Ravindranath Tagore. Was the father of Ravindranath Tagore, Satyendranath Tagore, the Tagore family, Tagore tag. So Maharishi Devendranath Tagore was very important. Even here, here. Tattva Bodhani Patrika. Even why not? The Devendranath Tagore had his own organization called Tattva Bodhani Sabha. That is also important. Not only Tattva Bodhani Patrika, he also had a Sabha called Tattva Bodhani Sabha. Note it down. And later only he became the head of the Brahma Samaj. Taken? This is most interesting thing. Later what happened is, next point, later, another leader also joined. Who was the leader? Was Kesav Chandrasen. Kesav Chandrasen. So first Devendranath Tagore, later Kesav Chandrasen, another leader. What would happen if two leaders in same organization? Means there was a split. So next you write it, 1866. No need of the year, 1866 split of Brahma Samaj. split in Brahma Samaj. Split in Brahma Samaj. Yes, how there was a split mean? One is Adi Brahma Samaj. Adi Brahma Samaj by Devendranath Tagore. By Devendranath Tagore. Another is Brahma Samaj of India. Brahma Samaj of India by Kesav Chandra Sen. It may be Brahma Samaj of India or Bharatiya Brahma Samaj, one and the same. By Kesav Chandra Sen. Taken. This is the method of study of any organization. So, top to bottom, you should know of this. Taken? Yes. Next important organization is Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj, founded in 1875. Founded in 1875 by Dayanand Saraswati here. Saraswat is correct, okay? By Dayanand Saraswati at Bombay, later shifted headquarters to Lahore. So initially headquarters was Bombay, later and permanent headquarters was Lahore. Got it? This Dayanand Saraswat himself was a nearby, you write it, near Dayanand Saraswat was a Gujarati Brahmin. He was a Gujarati Brahmin. He started this Arya Samaj. Okay, again and again I would not say Arya Samaj was the revivalist movement, Brahma Samaj was the reformist movement. I have already given in this itself, right, earlier itself. Whenever you come across the word Brahma Samaj, it's a reformist movement. Then what is reformism? You should know. Whenever you come across Arya Samaj, you should mention it's a revivalist. What is the meaning of revivalist? You have to explain. Then only you have to write other points what I mentioned here. Okay, it's a pure revivalist movement. This Arya Samaj was. What is revivalism? You people know. Rejecting Western ideas, so and so. Okay, so this is what related to the Arya Samaj. Then what kind? Next you write it. This also opposed all social and religious evils. But concentrated against idol and image worship, priest community. If you see himself as a Brahmin, but himself opposed to such a priest community. How Rajaram Mohan Roy concentrated of abolition of Sati, likewise he concentrated to abolish this kind of institutions. So what is revivalism? You know, what it concentrated, you know, right? That's important. And next important thing is, since it's a revivalist movement, what is the core theme of this movement is go back to Vedas, write it. This is the concept, go back to Vedas. Vedas. Right, actually if you see Vedas, Veda belong to which group is Aryas, Aryan people. That's why his organization name is Arya Samaj. Always keep it in mind. Why? Revivalism means going back. He asked the people in 1900, oh people, this is not the Indian culture. This is not the Indian way of life. Okay, then what is the Indian way of life? Go to the Vedic age where Aryans lived. That is the way of Indian life. That is the reason not only he said, he started the movement in the same name called Arya Samaj. Understood? That's why his name is Arya Samaj. Name of the movement is. This is very, very important. Go back to Vedas. Yes, because during Vedic period, no sati. Widow remarriage prevailed. No dowry. No child marriage. No child marriage. So that's why his movement is Arya Samaj. This is important. You have to write these things. Yes. Next, what happened is he died. After his death, next point. After his death, ideological differences within his organization. Ideological difference within his organization. What kind of difference? Here is, listen, some of the Arya Samajists wanted to follow Western education system and some wanted to follow Eastern education system. Western education and Eastern education system. So within the Arya Samaj was not split into 2 or 3 like that of Brahma Samaj. Within itself, what kind of education should be followed? Okay. Some says, no, it is better to just confine to Eastern education. What is our education system? Gurukula system. So they were in favor of Gurukula system. Write it. Yes, and who was in favor of Gurukula system is Shraddhananda. Swami Shraddhananda was in favor. This is Gurukula. Now, Western education. Western education means it's a college system. College or present day school system. Even today, whatever you are schooling, whatever your college, all are Western system. Present day school colleges. Because our system is Gurukula. You are coming. If offline classes mean our institute is there, you are coming from your home and room. I am from my home. We are interacting in a common place. Institution. Western education. Pakka English education system. But Eastern system mean you all the students should come to my home. Whenever I have free time, at the time only I would impart education. And whether you have to give fees, no, you have to render service. Boys, two-wheeler driver, four-wheeler driver, and bodyguard. Girls, kitchen work, sweeping work. If driving, come. These kinds of activity you may have seen in Ramayana, Mahabharata, likewise. That during the period of Brahmacharya phase, studying phase. Right? So this is called college system. Who was in favor of the college system is Lala Lajpat Rai. Lala Hans Rai. Hans Rai. They are all famous related to the Western education system. Actually, among the system, Western education is famous. What is a famous? Even today we have is DAV school. Throughout India, DAV schools are there. What is the expansion of the DAV school is Dayanand Anglo-Vedic. Even among that, many girls and boys may be the product of the DAV school. Got it? That is Dayanand Anglo-Vedic school, DAV school. It's the most successful. So that's why I'm saying, first if you study history, then you come to society, everything is present. Okay, we already have studied it. I already discussed this matter. Without knowing of this study only, if you come to society, if you see something, you don't know what is going on. So hereafter, if you go to DAV, okay, Arya Samaj, later split, that led to this kind. However, that's all related to Arya Samaj. And third important movement in Hinduism, whatever I am discussing is in Hinduism, is this Ramakrishna mission. Third is Ramakrishna mission. Taken, started in 1897 started in 1897 at Belur. At Belur in West Bengal. Belur or Belur? Belur in West Bengal. Don't confuse with Karnataka Belur, where Channakesava temple is located. Right? This Belur in West Bengal, it was started. Who started is Swami Vivekananda here. Swami Vivekananda, he started this organization. So here, camera change panna. Sundar. Yes, Swami Vivekananda founded it in 1897 at Belur. Yes, why did he start this organization? What was the purpose is, right, to implement the teachings of his guru. To implement the teachings of his guru, Ramakrishna. Full name is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Teachings of his guru, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. In that photo, near Swami Vivekananda, at the center, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and nearby Ramakrishna's wife, Sarda Devi. So Sarda Devi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and the rightmost is rightmost is Swami Vivekananda. So he wanted to implement the teaching of his Guru Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Okay, now listen. If you want to know the mission of Ramakrishna mission, you should know the teachings of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and you should know the biography of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Then only you could have an idea of this Ramakrishna mission. Am I right? So under Ramakrishna, you put downward arrow and write it. He was a priest. You have already written Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Right, just put downward arrow and note it down. He was a priest in a Kali temple, Kali temple at Dakshineshwar. Dakshineshwar. So near Calcutta, even today it's an important pilgrimage center of the Hindus. A Kali temple is there. So he was a priest. Yes, he was a priest in that. Okay. What kind of priest he was? Was he doing any ritual sacrifice? No. He would not do rituals and sacrifice like that of the normal priest. All taken? Yes. He would not do like this. Rather than what way he did it? Listen. In the temple, he would sit in some of the corner, and whenever the devotees came and met him, he started to preach. He started to teach social reform, religious reform in a simple way. Even today, if you go to old temple, some saint or some saintly people would sit off any of the corner and surrounded by tens of hundreds of people, and he ready to listen what he says. Likewise, he was a priest. He was not a traditional priest. Okay, so people arrived, met him, he started to speak. What kind of preach? He preached it. First statement, write it. His preaching or his saying. What kind he preached to the common man is service to man is service to God. Service to man is service to God. It's a first. Okay, no need to rituals. Straight away do service to man. That's enough. Second quotation. Okay. Second, Ram. Write it. Ram, Hari, Jesus Christ, and Allah are different names of the same God. Different names of the same God. different names of the same God. And yes, God is one and the same, but we are calling him in different names. Ram, Hari, so and so, so and so. It means that he tried to say God is one and the same. Like so many sayings are there. In that he produced and tried to reach to the people. Especially the first one is important. Service to man is service to God. Humanitarian basis. Even today, if you go to Ramakrishna Mission, humanitarian service, free food, free education service, otherwise medical services are being provided. So such a Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had so many disciples. In that, one of the disciples is Swami Vivekananda, later became popular. Now we are going to discuss about Swami Vivekananda. Write it, Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda. His name, real name is Narendranath Dutt. Simpler, you write it, Narendranath. It's a faster. Second is, you all know, he was one of the disciples of Paramahamsa, and when he was famous is after attending World Religious Parliament at Chicago. Famous after attending World Religious Parliament at Chicago. So after that only he was very famous. Even Vivekananda became famous in Tamil Nadu actually. What is the reason? It was a Tamil Nadu ruler, one of the ruler who gave economic support to send him to Chicago, as well as that ruler only gave the title called Vivekananda. That's why Vivekananda Tamil Nadu has a close link. Even in Tamil Nadu, we do have Vivekananda Rock where he did meditation. And even in Chennai, there is a Vivekananda house is there in the beach road. It's a very famous. So that Narendranath that later became called Vivekananda. Very important. Right. And next is, so the same person only after the death of his guru started an organization called Ramakrishna Mission, that you know. Right. One important thing is, right, thing is he wrote a book. The book name is this, Colombo to Almora. UPSC question already. Colombo is in Sri Lanka, Almora in Uttarakhand. Actually, he traveled from Colombo to Almora. Whatever he saw, whatever about the Indian society, everything he visited. That's why that book is called Colombo to Almora. This is already asked. Even I attended. Who wrote the series of letters later became book called Colombo to Almora? It's a Vivekananda. And Vivekananda Memorial Rock in Kanyakumari. That all GK. Definitely you should have known of this. Understood? So 3 organizations we discussed it. And the 4th organization is there, that is Theosophical Society. 5 minutes break, then we will discuss. Next is Theosophical Society here. Started in 1875 by Madame Blavatsky and Henry Alcott. Blavatsky and Henry Alcott at New York. It was started at New York. Next and the last organization of important organization in Hinduism is the Theosophical Society. This one, 1875, started in 1875 by Madame Blavatsky here, Madame Blavatsky and Henry Alcott here. Madame Blavatsky and Henry Alcott at New Delhi, New York. Institution was started at New York. It's very interesting. If you see, many organizations were started by Indians because of Western impact. Am I right? But this organization was started by Westerner because of Eastern impact. Note it down. That's why it's quite interesting. It was started by Westerner because of Eastern impact. Eastern impact or Indian impact. How Western education, how Western culture had an impact that led to many organizations. In the same way, Indian also had an impact on West because Indian way of life, Indian customs, even today is loved by many Westerners. Family system, good, fabric, yoga, food is medicines. No other society follow this concept. They separated food and medicines. But in India alone, what is food is the medicine. What is the medicine is the nature. What is available at nature, naturally, that itself is being utilized rather than for artificial. That way is liked by many Westerners. Some Westerners like Henry Alcott, Madame Blavatsky started this organization. This is called Theosophical. And another name of the Theosophical, you write it, it's called Brahma Jnana Sabha. Brahma Jnana. Either G or J. So Brahma Samaj is Rajaram Mohan Roy. Brahma Jnana Sabha. Either G or J, that is other name of Theosophical Society. So you need knowledge of Brahmo. What is the Brahmo knowledge? Is the Vedic knowledge, write it. Vedic culture. Vedic knowledge, Vedic culture. That's why it's also go back to Vedas. It's also a revivalist. Revivalist means going back. Simple. Understood? So going back, go back to Veda, Brahma knowledge. This is important thing regarding to the revivalism. Understood? Yes. So first started in USA. Next, later shifted headquarters to India. That too at which place is Adayar. Later shifted to Adayar. Adayar is located in Chennai. Even today also it's an international headquarters. Theosophical Society's international headquarters at Adayar. They shifted it. This is important. Next, later Annie Besant joined the movement. So this is important. Annie Besant was not the founder of the movement. Many candidates are thinking that, right, even statement based question would be like this. But Theosophical Society was started by Annie Besant. Many would consider as a right statement. It's absolutely wrong. It was started by whom is that people. Later Annie Besant joined, and much later only she became the head of the organization. So Annie Besant was not the founder of the organization. And what about Annie Besant? Whether was she from USA? No, she was Irish lady. That is from Ireland. From Ireland she came to India, joined Theosophical movement, later became the leader. These things will be helpful regarding study of Home Rule movement. Later, much later we will discuss Home Rule movement. That was also started by Annie Besant. So first part of Annie Besant life I mentioned. Second part, Home Rule movement, we will discuss later. Okay, this is what related to Theosophical. Okay, it was also a revivalist movement, Vedic knowledge. Then what kind of things emphasized? You write it. It emphasized on, or it insisted. It emphasized or insisted What kind insisted means first study of Indian religious knowledge. Indian religious knowledge means Indian religious textbook. Indian religious textbook. What are the Indian religious textbook? Vedas, Upanishad. These kinds are the Indian religious textbook. So they wanted to emphasize this study of this. Second, universal brotherhood. Universal brotherhood. Third is mystic idea. Mystic idea. Even sometimes they would use the word occultism. Exactly, they would reproduce the word. So mystic. Mystic means it's like a black magic. Likewise, that's called mystic. These three things were emphasized by this Theosophical Society. Theosophical Society is very famous society. It is an international society. Even today also most successful throughout the world. It has 150 plus branches in throughout the world. So this is what Theosophical Society. Likewise, so many organizations were there. Keep it in mind. It's impossible to list out all the organizations in Hinduism. So why I discussed four organizations, I mean all are different. One is reformist, one is revivalist, one is also revivalist but different. One was started by Westerner. So with this base, you have to study other organization. Nearly 20 and another 15 plus Hindu organizations are there. First you study the four just to go through, write the exam. In the test, in our test, I will give some more important organization. Then you go back, study that alone. Likewise, you add. At the moment itself, you can't study 50 plus organization at a stretch, boring, and you get mental. This is the way of adding. Okay, this is the things of Hinduism. Next is, so movement in Hinduism I discussed here in this. Hinduism is over. Next, movement in Islam. Write it. That is reform movement in Islam. Yes. All the Islamic movements are revivalist movements. All the Islamic movements are revivalist movement except Aligarh. Except Aligarh movement. Even earlier I have given Aligarh alone as a reformist. All other movements are the revivalist movement. Okay. So keep it in mind. What is revivalism? You know. Even we discussed what is revivalism in Hinduism. We discussed. Now you are going to type it. What is revivalism in Islam? Type it. What is revivalism? You know. What is revivalism in Hinduism? I said. What is revivalism in Islam? You try. Then. Okay. Revivalism, yeah. I am not asking reformism. I am asking revivalism in Islam. One is right, Sharia, following their own culture, judicial norms of Sharia. Yes. Retaining the pure teachings of Quran, retaining the pure interpretation like a Sharia. That is right. Simple. What is revivalism in Hinduism? Go back to Veda, studying Vedic textbook, studying Upanishad. In the same way, here also, and following the Hindu culture in Hinduism. Likewise, what is revivalism in Islam? Is you write it under revivalism, following the Islamic culture, retaining the Islamic culture, which was disturbed due to British culture. Because both the boys and girls of Islam started to use the British culture. No, this is not. what prophet period or 10th century, 12th century, what kind of Islamic dress customs follow this. Second, following the pure teachings of Quran, because it was completely diluted. No, this is wrong. So follow the pure teachings of Islam. Okay, so these kinds, revivalism means going back and try to retain, and not only following the teachings of Quran, even teachings of the Prophet also, right? Likewise. This is called revivalism. Except Aligarh, all are revivalism. First I will discuss revivalist movement, few revivalist movement, then I come to the Aligarh. So you write it, some famous revivalist movement. That's in Islam. Some famous revivalist movement. Actually, these two are the earliest. One is Faraisi movement. Another is Wahhabi movement. One is Faraisi, another is Wahhabi movement. Wahhabi movement. Yes, this Wahhabi is famous in Punjab region. Faraisi is famous in Bengal. One is in Punjab, another is in Bengal. Taken? And Wahhabi was started by Shariatullah. And Faraisi was started by Shah Waliullah. Shah Waliullah. So these two are the earliest reform movement. These kinds are potential. Simple question. Normally a student would miss it. You can get more score of this. Faraisi and Wahhabi movement. Though these two are very famous, earliest, what is a very famous revivalist movement is third. Third is, this is very important. Note it down, Deoband movement. Here. What is Deoband? It's a place. It's a place in Uttar Pradesh, like Aligarh is a place. Likewise, Deoband is a place in Uttar Pradesh where a movement was started. That's why it's called Deoband movement. Right? So it's a place, a Islamic revival movement. Then what is the real name of the Islamic movement? This movement is, you write it, its real name is Dar ul Ulum. Dar ul Ulum. This is the meaning, real name of the Islamic movement. Such a movement was started at a place called Deoghar. So such a movement is called Deoghar movement. Deoband movement. Rather than the movement name, the city name is popular and it was kept for the movement name. Here also some founders are there, but not important. Only one thing is very important. It was not only the revivalist movement, it supported Indian national movement also. That is important, right? It supported Indian national movement and produced many nationalists. It produced many nationalists. So it supported the national movement, it participated in Indian nationalism, it produced many nationalists. In that, the very famous nationalist is Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Write it. Is Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. Second, very famous. He was the product of this Deoband movement. And even why not? He was the first education minister, Union Minister for Education. Union Minister of Education. And he was famously called Modern Akbar. Akbar also did religious reform in 1500s. Likewise, he also did religious reformation. That's why he was famously called Modern Akbar. Okay, so these are all important revivalist movement in Islam, except one movement that is a reformist. That next is, you write, Aligarh movement. Aligarh movement. Shall we start? So Aligarh movement is the best movement of reformist. Reformist meant what? While the revivalist asked the people just to confine to the Quran, but the Aligarh movement said that no, you need Quranic knowledge as well as Western knowledge also. So you write it. This movement wanted both Quranic knowledge as well as Western knowledge also. We are discussing the most important topic. Okay, lengthiest topic. Quranic knowledge as well as Western. Even he could say, what is just studying of the Quran? What is the just study? And he never said discard it. Along with that, you have to study life science. Then only you could be a very good person. Then only you could sustain in this world. So what he did, he asked for religious studies as well as life study also. For that, what he did, he wanted to promote education. Not only he said he did it, he set up educational institution at Aligarh. Who set up means Sir Syed Ahmad Khan here. The founder was Syed Ahmad Khan here. Syed Ahmad Khan. Got it? So here the name, he set up educational institution at various places, that too at particularly Aligarh. That's why the movement is called Aligarh movement. If you go to Aligarh, even Aligarh Muslim University is there. Actually, that was started as a college by him, right? He only started such a college. So many educational institution at Aligarh. One educational institution is, you write it, Anglo Muhammadan Oriental College. I'll write it here so that you could easily, Anglo Muhammadan Oriental College. Oriental College at Aligarh. College at Aligarh. Actually, later it became Aligarh Muslim University. It became Aligarh Muslim University. Taken. So this much of measures were taken by him, right? This by Syed Ahmad Khan. Education. His main intention is education. Education even for women also, both Islamic, that's why Anglo as well as Muhammadan education. That's why this organization is very famous. Aligarh University as of now providing tens of thousands of students for such upliftments, educational wise upliftments. Okay, that's all. These are all important organizations regarding Islam. And next is movement in Sikhism. That is a religious movement in Sikhism. Yes, you all knew very well of the Sikhism means in this Punjab region, right? So all the movements are just confined to the Punjab region, right? So no need to give particular places here. Reformation happened in Sikhism also. What kind of movement is first point? All the reform movements are revivalist. First point. All are revivalist movements. Okay, what is revivalism in Hinduism discussed? What is revivalism in Islam we discussed. Here, what is revivalism in Sikhism is first point. Why it's called revivalism in Sikhism is first one is following the teachings of gurus. That to the following the teachings of gurus, that to pure teachings. First, how many gurus are there? 10 gurus. Guru Govind Singh, from Guru Nanak to Guru Govind Singh. Okay, following the teachings of gurus first. Second thing, and their holy textbook, Adi Granth or Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Granth Sahib. It's like a Bible, like a Quran. Okay, right? Bhagavad Gita and various other Hindu holy textbook. So here, Guru Granth Sahib. Understood? So this is second. And third is following the pure Sikh culture. Even you could have seen that Sikh dressing. Am I right? Especially if you are from Punjab region or north, you could know 5K, Kirpan, Kacha, Khada, Kanga, likewise. These are all identity. I say it means definitely turban later part. So likewise, you have to follow the Sikh identity. These are all revivalism in Sikhism because their culture was also disturbed when Punjab was annexed after second Anglo-Sikh war by Dalhousie. That was also affected. No, we have to follow our own culture. All are revivalist movements. Then what are all the important revivalist movement? You write it. The earliest revivalist movement is Namdari and Nirangara movement. Founder, another thing, no, don't want. Keep it in mind, whenever you come across the word Namdari and Nirangarana, it's a Sikh movement, revivalist movement, earliest two movements. Just to go through in the book, whatever, nearly 20 plus reformation we are discussing. First study whatever I have given, then attend the test, another 5 to 6 is given, then you go and study. Don't study in a single stroke all the thing, you will get into trouble. Okay, though these two are very famous and earliest, the most famous reformist movement is Akali movement, right? Akali, 1920, 1921. This is very, very important of this movement. What's the significance? What's the Akali movement? What's the significance is, right, listen, that holy place of Hinduism is called a temple. Holy place of Christianity, church, Islam, mosque, likewise. What is the holy place of the Sikh people is Gurudwara. Don't confuse with Golden Temple. Right, Golden Temple is also a Gurudwara. Here is their holy place. You should use the word Gurudwara. It's equal to temple. It's equal to a mosque. It's equal to church. Right, in Gurudwara, so many Gurudwaras are there. In that, the famous Gurudwara is Golden Temple. They wanted to snatch the administration of the Gurudwara Golden Temple. That was the aim. You write it. They wanted to capture the administration of their Gurudwara at Golden Temple at Amritsar. That was the aim of the Akali movement. Okay, why did they want to take back? Means in Golden Temple many corrupted priests were there, Sikh priests were there. From such a corrupted Sikh priest, they wanted to take back the administration. They wanted to capture the administration. That is that reason of Akali movement. This is very, very important. 19, 20, 21 you study. When I come back later part, I will ask the same question. I would not again discuss this. Because this Akali movement is a successful movement. Later only some Akalis started a political party. You may know of this Shiromani Akal Dal party, Barkashing Badal, the erstwhile Chief Minister of Punjab. So many Akalis are there, Dabba Akali. Likewise, Akali movement is how Dravida movement is very important in Tamil Nadu, that led to Dravida party, DMK, so and so. With the same importance is given to this Akalis. Actually, what is modern India history mean? What is happening in present day Indian political, socio-economic? The origin we are discussing 200 years or 300 years before. Actually, if you know history, ancient, medieval, modern world history, as such it will come as such. Okay, because of this happening, you would come to know everything as such. Now you study theoretical because at young, when you go to a place, you will realize, okay, I already studied in history. Already sir told this one. You will come to know. No other people would get the in-depth idea like that of the UPSC aspirant. And whatever we are discussing, no one is out of topic, out of life related thing. Everything is related to life and day-to-day activity. You will realize it. If you go to Punjab, definitely, okay, Namdaris, even Namdaris are there, Nirangaras are there, Akalis are there. Understood? Yes. So these are all important reform movement in Sikhism. And last is reform movement in Zoroastrianism. Reform movement in Zoroastrianism. Shall you go to that? Yes. So Zoroastrianism is the religion. Keep it in mind. Is the religion. The people are called Parsi people. There is no religion called Parsi religion. Zoroastrianism is a religion. People are called Parsi. Even today in India, great Parsi people are there. Type one or two famous Parsi people in India. So who is that? Sonia Gandhi Parsi. Sonia Gandhi Parsi, right. Ratan Tata, Homi Jahangi Baba, Dadabhai Nauroji. That people are the Parsis. Very famous community. Tata Group. Entire Tata Group is the Parsi group. Very famous. Right. So such a Parsi community, Gujarat, Maharashtra region, you could see even in the Parsi well advanced society, even in that also reformist movement. What is the movement is reformist, you write. Even I have given the movement name also. Yes. So in Parsi also, among the Parsi people, Reformation, what is the movement is this one, Rahanumai Mastayasnan Sabha. In their language. Actually, it's a Gujarati or Persian. Either it should be in Gujarati, otherwise it should be in their language called Persian language. Rahanumai Mastayasnan Sabha. Feroz Gandhi, correct. Feroz Gandhi. Husband of Indira Gandhi, Parsi. Super. Nauruji Firduji, who typed? Nauruji Firduji, Harini, super, excellent. If you knew Nauruji Firduji, that's all over. You have completely study of this. Okay, who started this? Raghunamai Masdan Sabha is Dadabhai Nauruji. Dadabhai Nauruji. Nauruji Firdunji. Simply you write it. Firdunji. Firdunji. Third is SS Bangli. Actually, one of the advanced community in India is this community actually. Very advanced community. Right? Even today, if you go to Supreme Court, Fali Nariman, Rohington Nariman, Justice, that community are the Parsi community. Once upon a time, even today also are dominating in the judiciary also. Got it? So these are all important. This is a reformist. Here itself he mentioned it's a reformist. Reformist means they accepted both West as well as the East. So this much of association with very important thing we discussed of this. First you completely study of this. With this, I successfully completed some reform movement. In Hinduism we discussed, in Islam we discussed that, in Christianity, Islam, Sikhism and Zoroastrianism we discussed. But even class is there. We missed some of the reformers. I have yet to discuss of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. I have yet to discuss of Ambedkar. Am I right? Here what we discussed it, Reformation name and founder we discussed. So now open the topic, and this is the last part of socio-religious reform movement. Right, it's some important reformers. So what we discussed it, movement we discussed. Beyond that, we are going to discuss some important reformers. Nearly 6 to 7 reformers we are going to discuss of this. So these are very, very important. Among that, the foremost reformers I open with this here is here. Any guess you may type. If you have guess, wild guess or mild guess or domestic guess, type it in the black pen color. I rounded. Who is the person? Who mentioned? Yes, exactly. Exactly, you are right. So, huh? Okay, exactly, you are right. So, first thing I am going to discuss is Jyotiba, Jyotiba Bule. Here is the Jyotiba and his wife. So, first is 1 minute. I'll find here. No, not here. Jyotiba, Jyotiba Bule, Jyotiba Bule. Here is the B. Okay, Jyotiba Bule and his wife Savitri Bai. Here, the great reformers from Bombay province, that is from Maharashtra. Jyotiba and his wife Savitri Bai. Right, first one. Himself from lawyer community. Actually, these people are forerunner to Ambedkar. Even Ambedkar took many ideas from him. Lawyer community. Right, first. Second, worked against casteism and untouchability. Actually, was a pioneer, champion of fighting against casteism and untouchability. But the best example is to fight against that, he wrote a book. That book is very famous. The book name is Gulamgiri. Note it down. Gulamgiri in Marathi language. What's the meaning of Gulamgiri is the slavery. It's a very famous book to fight against the untouchability. That is the slavery, the meaning of Gulamgiri. It's very important. Not only that, he started an organization to fight against the casteism and other thing. That's called Satya Sodak Samaj. Sodak Samaj. Actually, either Gulamgiri or Satya Sodak Samaj. It's a expected question at Pune. So this couple lived in the Pune and in and around Pune and Maharashtra region. They promoted it in that very famous organization, Satya Sodak Samaj. Very famous. So against casteism and untouchability they worked it. Okay. Not only that, next is worked for women education. Commonly women upliftment, especially women education. Upliftment or women education. Yes, what way? Worked is, especially he insisted not only the women education for other, he insisted women education in his house itself. It's very interesting. When he married Savitri Bai, she was illiterate. Savitri Bai was illiterate. After marriage only, Savitri Bai was sent to school and she got education. After that, both Jyotiba as well as Savitri Bai fought for the women empowerment. Both worked for women empowerment, especially setting up of India's first girls' school. Right. So this couple was responsible for setting up of India's first girls' school. I don't remember exact school name at Pune. This is very important. So India's first girls' school was started by this couple at Pune. Huh? Yes. Yes, this is important. So this much of measures were taken by this couple. That's why this Jyotiba was given the title called Mahatma, right? Even the title called Mahatma was later given, much later given to Gandhiji. But before Gandhiji itself, he was given the title called Mahatma. Jyotiba, most important personality. Satya Sodak Samaj, Gulamgiri, keep it in mind. Okay, so Jyotiba is over. And the next important person is here. Any guess of this person? Guess and type it. Who type? Who type? Prakash. Prakash is correct. Right. The second is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Vidyasagar. From Calcutta. From Calcutta. Worked for women's upliftment. You may have come across the word women upliftment, otherwise emancipation. Upliftment or emancipation. Okay, one and the same. Both are one and the same. Upliftment or emancipation. Okay. What way? First is worked for widow remarriage. So in the name of women's upliftment, he worked for widow remarriage. Actually, most successful. Because of his effort only, in 1856, you write it, in 1856, Dalhousie government passed Widow Remarriages Act. Year is 1856. Dalhousie government passed Widow Remarriages Act. Most important person and important topic here is listen. Rajaram Mohan Roy abolished Sati. Just abolition of Sati is useless. Am I right? If Sati is abolished, many widows would be there. Such a widow should be given next life. That led to what one is the Widow Remarriages Act, given by what person is this Rajaram Mohan Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. So 50% work was done by Rajaram Mohan Roy, and the next 50% work was done by Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Both are pioneer of women's upliftment from the Bengal area. Very important person. Okay, not only for widow remarriage, he worked for women education. Write it. Worked for women education and started a girls' school. This is not the first girls' school in India. This is the first girls' school in Bengal. The girls' school name is Bethune School. Bethune School. Bethune, a person, European, he provided amount, knowledge, ideas was given by this that led to the Bethune School. Actually, it's the first girls' school in Bengal. Okay, it's very interesting. What's the interesting thing is first batch. In the first batch, nearly 27 or 28 girls attended the school. Many criticized. Life of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was threatened. You will be killed. You will be torn into pieces. What nonsense? What are you thinking? Why do you give education to the girls? What is the purpose of getting education of these people? The same thing I'm saying. Even it may be wrong, whatever the thing. Even he got life threat of giving education to the girls. So today we are discussing Rajaram Roy, great, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, but they wanted to bend the old system. For that, how hardship they faced, they alone knew of this. Because they people are not followers, that people are reformers. They wanted to bend the 2000-year-old or 1000-year-old institution. Just imagine how many opposition, how many criticism, how many threat they would have got it. If no Raja Ramonda, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, right, like these people, we are not here. Especially girls are not. That's why you should also do something for the future. Otherwise, whatever I want to enjoy means, what's a necessity? After 1000 years or 500 years, such a community would lost its freedom. Some people should do. Understood? Life of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was threatened, and even many Hindus consider it Kali Yuga, excess of Kali Yuga. That's all, world would come to an end. Why you are giving education to girls? Such a criticism was there, but never bother about it. And not only that, he acted as principal of Sanskrit college, write it. He acted as principal of Sanskrit college, where he included non-Brahmins also. Where he included non-Brahmins. These are all very important work of this Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. You do one thing, don't reform the society. First reform your family. Try. Tomorrow you will not be given food. You try to reform. Otherwise, you ask some question, why do we follow this ritual? Why do we do like this? Immediate student, your neighbor should say, you are studying history, that's why you are asking 1,000 plus one questions. Rather than reforming society, try to reform or try to ask question of your family. And we people are doing so many things without knowing why we are doing it. Many are saying that, why do you do? Because my forefather did it, I am doing it. Right? You have to learn the lesson from Ishwar Chandra. And the third important is, other over. Yes, next come down to south. Third is Sri Narayana Guru. Narayana Guru from Kerala. Worked against casteism and untouchability. And why not? Himself from a community, lower community called Yelava community, and worked for upliftment of such a community. The community name is this one, and worked for the upliftment. For that, he started an organization called SNDP. And this is very important. Organization is called SNDP. Taken? Yes, what is SNDP is Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana. Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana. It's a very famous movement that worked for the upliftment of the lower community. Got it? Very famous reformer. Even today, Kerala, societal wise, social upliftment, social indicators are high. One of the reason is this Narayana Guru. Not the only reason, one of the reasons. So many other reasons are there. If you see the Kerala social indicator wise, number one state, whether women education or all over education, are providing equality. Am I right? That's important. Third is over. And the fourth is, very important person is E.V. Ramasamy. E.V. Ramasamy, 2019 preliminary question is related to E.V. Ramasamy, popularly called Periyar. Actually, in Tamil, it's we used to call Periyar. In English, it's called Big Bro. You write it. Big Bro or Elder Bro. Periyar means Big Bro. Anna, even in Dravidian language, if you come across word Anna is also Big Bro or Elder Bro. Okay, so popularly called Periyar. Yes, actually he was a radical reformer, you write it. He was a radical reformer, fought against religious superstition, casteism, fight against religious superstition, casteism, and worked for women. The three different things he worked it. Against superstition, against casteism, and in favor of the women. Taken? So in favor of the women, he worked it. In this, what he did is in the casteism is, and for women, he promoted self-respect women. Actually, this is what exact question. He started self-respect movements. The word is important. Respect, and the next is the self-respect. Actually, respect should be given by others. That is the exact respect. But lower community can get respect from others. That's why he said, why do you expect respect from others? Yourself give respect. First you have to respect yourself. Then only other would give respect. In that way he started self-respect movement. Most popular, actually a single person who changed the major thing of the community in South, especially in Tamil Nadu, is this, because he started movements called Dravidan movements actually. Dravida Kalaham. He is the pioneer of starting the Dravida Kalaham, also the starting of the movement called the self-respect movement. From the Dravida Kalaham only, so many branches, DMK, ADMK, so many cases are there. The single person who changed is this person. Okay, that much of impact he had it in that society. This is for important person. And last we have to discuss two important. One is Ambedkar we have to discuss, and sixth we have to discuss Gandhiji. Right, already 2015 mains question is related to Ambedkar and Gandhiji. This alone we will discuss in the next class. Just it will take 10 to 15 minutes to discuss about this. Right, with the vivid explanation I have to discuss this. That alone we will discuss later. Any doubts? Today I finished for one mains question. Definite question will be asked, and in the case of optional history, definite a 20 mark question, and for preliminary 2 question is over. That much of important topic is this. Next unit, revolt 1857. After that, national movement. Damn easy. Yes, any doubt? Srivatsan.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Sir, my doubt is, sir, in this various sabhas established, did they criticize one another, sir? If they don't, because one sabha will be focusing on one thing, other sabha will be focusing on another thing. So they be criticizing against each other, or just they will be focusing on them, sir.
That is rarest of rare. 1 or 2 sabhas are there. Especially Brahma Samaj was later criticized by 1 or 2 Samaj. Apart from that, no such a major criticism. 1 or 2 Samajas, but that may be neglected because 50 plus Samajas are there. 2 or 3 alone criticized. Apart from that, all worked in their respective sphere.
Sir, one more doubt is, sir, in yesterday's class, you told about the censorship of press act and things like that, sir. So if so, British censored this caste inequality. That type of material has been criticized by has been censored by the British, or they would just pass on them as in the given in the newspaper, sir.
Actually, censorship is related to censorship of the British political and administrative alone. Casteism and other thing, they never censored it.
Okay, sir. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Akil, Apple, Apple.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, I just want to know what is that Bhakti movement? Are the Bhakti movements same or different ones?
Yes, exactly. The Bhakti movements are socio-religious reform movement in medieval times. These are all the socio-religious reform movement in modern time. That's all.
Oh, so Bhakti movements are different, sir.
No, it also did the same social evils, criticize social evils, religious evil. This is the socio-religious reform movement in which century? 19th century.
19.
Bhakti movements are socio-religious reform movement around 10th century.
Oh, so those comes under medieval and ancient history?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Bhakti movement also did the same thing. It also opposed the religious superstition. It also opposed the social superstition. But it happened in 10th, 11th century. This one is 19th century.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Kailash.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Actually, sir, actually, in this educational system improved by British, actually, you said that before 1835, these British imposed to know about the Indian culture, sir. Actually, educational system that Sanskrit for Hindus law. But in Spectrum, they said that they just imposed these all to improve for the Indians to just work in their British court, sir.
Yes.
Like that they mentioned in Spectrum, sir.
Yes, that's also right. Because already not only to learn of the British and to assist the British also, some Indians should learn it. For example, Gumasta or otherwise some treasurer would be there. They should also knew very well of this language so to assist the British in the court as well as administrative function. That's also right. Not just for British alone.
So for writing an exam, for what we want to write, sir? For British only, British only we want to write, or we want to include the Indians, sir?
Both.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ashwin.
வணக்கம் சார். சார் ஆக்சுவலா நான் லாஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் உங்ககிட்ட ஒரு டவுட் கேட்டிருந்தேன் சார். பெங்கால் சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நீங்க நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் எல்லாரும் இருக்கும்போது சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னு.
Yes. What happened to Bengal Supreme Court? Listen, now I will. Let one party. Okay. We will discuss. Okay, with these people. Listen. What happened to Bengal Supreme Court? Carefully listen. First, a Supreme Court was established in Bengal, 1773. Later, a Supreme Court was established in Madras. I have not discussed. Now I am discussing. Later, a Supreme Court was created at Bombay. So listen. Before 1862, India had 3 Supreme Courts. But in 1862, what happened is these Supreme Courts renamed as High Court. If you want, go back to 1862, 3 High Courts were established. In that, had it earlier, these were worked as Supreme Courts. So first year Supreme Court in Bengal, Calcutta. Next year Supreme Court in Madras. Next year Supreme Court in Bombay. In 1862, in that page, in that I have given, the High Courts were established in Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. Actually, earlier they worked as 3 different Supreme Court.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Haripriya.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Actually, you said that in social religious movements, among the religion, the first one was the idol worship. So my question is, how does idol worship was somewhat related to religious movements, sir? So for the individuals, right? Like how can people go and act against an individual's personal thing of worshiping idol?
Okay, actually, it's not universal. All never opposed idol worship. Few people consider that, why not? You can easily worship. Even our form of worship is natural worship. Once upon a time we worshipped sun. Once upon a time we worshipped air, fire. But later only, even in Hinduism, idol worship came. Idol worship in Hinduism was much later. Without idol worship itself, you can worship God. That was their idea.
Okay, that is their idea. So they try to impose it on people.
Yes, yes. Even
Okay.
idol and image worship itself is an idea. It was successfully imposed. We are following it because for last 1,000 years we have been. But before that, thousands of years, there is no idol and image worship in Hinduism
Yes,
itself.
it's paganism only. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, because in
And
between.
second question is, I can hear you.
Yes, right.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Second question is, under Arya Samaj, sir, there was a split among the people. So one of them had espoused for a Western system of education, and that's how they had the BA schools. So, but Arya Samaj by itself was revivalist kind of sort, sir. So how did they promote Dayanand Anglo-Vedic college of schools?
That's why I said in the first itself, don't confuse with education and culture. Right? Even Anglo-Vedic, only education alone is important. They never asked the people to follow culture. Education is different, culture is different.
Okay. Okay. Then another outside is actually this regarding the previous classes. What is the difference between Governor General of Bengal and Governor General of India? Like after Governor General of India was established, all the governors of Madras and Bombay were subordinate to Governor General of India.
Yes, yes. Not only Governor General of Governor of Bombay and Madras was subordinate to Governor General of India. Even in 1773 Act itself, both Bombay Governor and Madras Governor were subordinate to Governor General of Bengal himself itself. Such a Governor General of Bengal was just renamed as Governor General of India.
Okay, sir. And this is regarding tests. So we have a test on 22nd, sir, in modern India. So what are your notes? Like, is that enough for the upcoming tests?
No, you have to study both my class notes as well as the
Yeah,
prescribed
your notes.
and the prescribed textbook.
Sorry?
What prescribed textbook? What I said earlier.
Okay. Fine. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Jay,
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon.
Sir, my doubt is regarding Dayanand Saraswati, sir. Sir, you said he was a revivalist, but he is against the priest community and he supported Vedas. It's a bit of a contrast, sir. He's supporting Vedas but against priest community.
No, it's not contrast. After studying ancient India, yourself would come to know. Okay, yourself would come to know. Vedic period, the entirely different. So once Vedas, the Upanishad, later Vedic, early Vedic, after studying is yourself would come to know. Till that, because many would not know of this kinds, till that you wait. So as long as what I mentioned, the fact is correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Shivapriya,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding that socio-religious reform movements. So it happened actually from ancient times. From ancient times, it was Buddhism and Jainism, and in medieval, it was Bhakti, Sufism, like that. And now it is in 19th century. It is based on this Western and Indian culture synthesis.
Yes,
This is a holistic view,
yes,
sir.
yes.
Can I use it like this?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
right.
sir. Okay, sir. And one more thing, sir. Today I missed that you were telling about Arya Samaj. During Vedic period, there was no dowry system, no child marriage, and two more points you told. No, sir, I missed, sir. Please tell me, sir.
Same thing. Whatever the social evils I said, they, that social evils were not practiced during the Vedic time. That's all. It may be child marriage, no widow remarriage was prevailed. The same thing. No dowry. Women were given education.
Okay, sir. And one more doubt, sir. Yesterday class in Sindh region, you told about Talkotra, annexation of Sindh. In that Talikotra, what is that, sir?
Talkotra means it's like a dynasty name. That's all. It's like a Chola.
Dynasty name. Okay.
Well, likewise Talkotra.
Okay, sir. That's all, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Vignesh. Sivamuthu.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you tell about the Ramakrishna mission, sir? Because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a secularistic way, but Vivekananda was a Hinduistic way. How can we interpret, sir?
No. Ramakrishna secularistic way means through Hinduism he adopted all the people. Through Hinduism he adopted all. Actually, secularism means I may be a Hindu. Okay. I can follow secular principle.
Yes,
what do you consider secularism? What do you know of secularism? Secularism means you should not have any religion, like that.
Don't dominate any religious. He promote every religion.
That's why I'm saying. He said Hari, Ram, all are the same name. That's a secularism. But for that I can be a Hindu. I can be a Hindu, but I would not say Hinduism is the only religion, best religion. So from the Hinduism, I can speak secularism.
But I am promoting Hindu religion, but I didn't criticize another religion.
Other religion, that's all. That's enough.
Okay.
Sri Darshini.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, a couple of questions like regarding Savitri Bai. Could we consider Savitri as the first women reformer, sir?
No. Before that itself, some reformers are there. Maybe, but I have to check it whether Savitri Bai or Rama Bai. That we have to check it. Who is earliest?
Okay, sir. So the other thing is the first school. Should we remember what's the first school they started for girls?
Better you check. I forget the school name. The school name is there. Some very famous school. I will tell in next day, next class. Otherwise, gadgets are there. Yourself watch it also. Definitely you should remember.
Okay. And the last thing is, I missed the nationalist which you said, sir, during the Deoband movement. His name, sir?
What? Maulana Abul Kalam Azad.
Sorry?
Maulana Abul Kalam Azad.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Karthik.
ஹலோ சார், இந்த மகள்வார் சிஸ்டத்துல ஒரு டவுட் இருக்கு சார். இந்த மகள்வாரி சிஸ்டத்துல பீசன்ஸ் எல்லாருமே சேர்ந்து அவங்களோட பணத்தை எல்லாருமே வில்லேஜ் கமிட்டி கிட்ட கொடுத்துருவாங்களா சார்? வில்லேஜ் கமிட்டிக்குன்னு ஒருத்தர் ஹெட் இருப்பாரா சார்?
வில்லேஜ் கமிட்டிங்கிறதுங்கிறது யாருன்னா வில்லேஜ் கிடையாது. வில்லேஜ் குரூப் ஆஃப் கமிட்டி கம்யூனிட்டி
கம்யூனிட்டி.
கம்யூனிட்டிக்கு
ஓகே சார்.
கம்யூனிட்டினா வில்லேஜ்ல இருக்க எல்லாரும் தான் வில்லேஜ் கம்யூனிட்டி. அந்த வில்லேஜ்
ஓகே சார். அவங்க எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து ஒருத்தர் கலெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்களா சார்?
அவர் தான் வந்து லம்பர்தார்னு சொன்னேன்.
அது வந்து இன்டர்மீடியட் சார். இங்கிலீஷ் ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனிக்கும் வில்லேஜ் கம்யூனிட்டிக்கும் இவங்க கனெக்ட் பண்ணி கொடுப்பாரு சார். நான் சொல்றது வில்லேஜ் கம்யூனிட்டி எல்லார்ட்டேந்துமே வில்லேஜ் எல்லாருமே ஒரே இடத்துல கொடுத்துருவாங்க சார் அந்த வில்லேஜ் கம்யூனிட்டிங்கிறது.
வில்லேஜ் கம்யூனிட்டினா யாருங்க அப்படின்னு ஒருத்தரே கிடையாது. வில்லேஜ்ல இருக்கிறவங்க தான்
அதான் எல்லாரும் சேர்றதுதான்.
எல்லாரும் சேர்றதுதான். எல்லார்ட்ட இருந்து யார் வாங்குவானா லம்பர்தார் தான் வாங்குவாரு. வில்லேஜ் அவர் வாங்கி கொடுத்துருவாரு. அவ்வளவுதான்.
ஓகே சார். அப்புறம் அந்த இவர் இருக்காரு சார், கவர்னர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் இந்தியான்னு சொல்லிட்டு வில்லியம் பென்டிக் வராருல சார். அந்த சமயத்துல கவர்னர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் பெங்கால யாரா போடுறாங்க சார்? இவர் இந்தியாவுக்கு போகும்போது டோட்டலி
அதான் மாத்தியாச்சு. கவர்னர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் பெங்கால தான் கவர்னர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் இந்தியாவே மாத்தியாச்சு. அதுக்கப்புறம் கவர்னர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் பெங்கால்ங்கிற போஸ்டே கிடையாது.
ஓகே சார். டோட்டலாவே அவர் தான் ஹெட்.
ஆக்டே இருக்குமே. கவர்னர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் பெங்கால் வாஸ் ரீப்ளேஸ்ட் வித் த நேம் கவர்னர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் இந்தியா.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார். தேங்க்யூ.
Vignesh.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you said Theosophical Society insisted a mystic idea, sir. Can you clarify on that mystic idea? What are the mystic ideas?
Idea means magic, black magic, likewise called mystic idea. One would not happen, but we believe on that.
Sir, black magic means it will come under social evils, no, sir? So social religious evils, no, sir?
For you, it's a social evil. That's why I'm saying. For some people, it's a social evil. For them, they accept it.
For them, they believe in mystic idea. Okay, sir. Sir, I have another doubt regarding a previous class, sir. Why English East India Company lost their monopoly, sir? Why British take the monopoly, sir?
Because of entire given, for example, in India, if one corporate company is given monopoly to trade with India, mean other corporate company would ask the government, why such a thing? It is unfair trade. Such a pressure in British government, that's why they removed. Because so many companies were there. But 200 years, you are given only one company. So other company gave pressure to the British government, so diluted.
Okay, sir. Due to French evolution also reason for that? Because I read it.
Yes, so many reasons. World history reason wise, so many hundreds of reasons are there.
Okay, sir. Sir, my third doubt is regarding a spectrum book, sir. While I reading in Anglo Mysore War, after Tipu Sultan, like that topic, under that in 1831, William Bentinck took control over the Mysore because of misgovernance, like that sentence will come, sir. But I remember that you once said Dalhousie first used the misgovernance concept on Awadh kingdom. So how this happens, sir?
First used it. Dalhousie used misgovernance in Awadh. Whether I mentioned first
yes,
used?
I think you said first used.
You checked it whether I have given or not. I didn't say of that.
So who introduced the misgovernance, sir?
You are right. Actually, even before Dalhousie using that misgovernance, actually no one introduced the misgovernance. First founder. Already misgovernance is the concept of age old. So Dalhousie used it to annex Awadh. That's all. Before that, it was used in the case of what? Mysore also. That's also right.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. That's my doubt, sir. Thank you, sir.